Podcast. It's your boy, Sean, Mr. NJ Brick City.
Henny Hardaway. He ain't Griffey Jr.
Just here.
We got Oz over there. Terrell, he's not here with us today. Joe will be here shortly. And with Jai, you know, he needs a day. He needs a day to chill and all that good shit. But,
and we got Bria.
We got Bria in the
I
background.
rock rough and stuff in my Afro puff.
hey,
The Cocoa Peach herself.
rock on with your ass.
You got a grill? Is that a grill you got? Oh,
No,
light
sir.
shot. You got gold teeth and shit?
That's a no, sir.
Damn.
It's a hard no.
Like, that ain't it, Chief.
Like,
Like, Chief, he said that ain't it.
Bria was out here gooning and shit.
Nah, bro, she ain't on them Goonie tunes like usually.
Oh, man, you call me out like that.
Damn, bro.
I listen to eclectic music.
Bro, you listen to nothing but trap shit.
I listen to eclectic
Dang,
3-6
just the
Mafia.
trap?
Yeah,
Crunchy Black.
exactly. How's everybody's week going?
My week was. Oh, I'm starting off.
Yeah.
My week was awesome.
Yeah, he's not used to sitting over there.
So I'm gonna tell you what happened.
What's up?
Go ahead and tell him.
Yeah, yesterday.
Be real excited. So
Hold up. First of all, I thought this was my week, so why you interjecting? I need you to fall back.
I won't.
Let me tell the people what happened.
I won't.
So
Sorry, those are, you gotta...
we had a little get together at my man Joe Cool's crib.
Shout out to Joe.
For sure. And got a little card game popping, you know what I'm saying? Some spades, of course, you know, black people shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And, Kia accidentally won last time. So I just let her know that was some fluky ass shit.
It wasn't an
and
accident.
me and bruh, we went ahead and handled our business, like straight run. Like, hey.
Okay, so just to be clear, it is now 1-up. Okay,
Right.
So let's not act like you out here running gamuts around us. Like, let's not do that. It's 1-up. We still gotta break the tie. So
We'll get to that.
okay, I'm just making sure though.
I mean, all in all, I didn't want to talk about it. It is, we won. I'm a good winner. I'm not a sore winner. We won. You know what I'm saying? We talked that little shit then. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I'm done.
We'll run it back.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
I understand that you
But you
want to
suck,
blow.
but
It's
I'm
okay.
We'll run it
I
back.
understand that you want to
Like I told you last night, I'm not about to Habib the situation and jump over. I'm not jumping over the fence.
Time again. I'm a good winner and a good loser, so I don't talk trash too much about you either way.
I'm not gonna send location. send location. Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up, Ruby? Wait on? How'd you get on here, Ruby? Jesus, you don't know her. She works down there in Greenville airport. Like, damn, that's what's up. Hey, Ruby, I haven't seen you in forever.
Hey,
okay.
Yeah, yeah, she cool. She used to ask me about Carter. Because Carter, he
was stud muffin?
Yeah, Studley McMichaels.
Drinking them stud watches?
Oh my goodness.
Stud lights?
Yeah.
Anywho,
how was your week?
You want to tell about your week?
You ain't got nothing else to talk about.
And then I went to sleep real nice and woke up.
Bro, there's nothing else you gotta
The
say.
podcast was
Yeah,
the highlight.
ain't got nothing else to
so your
say.
game was the highlight of your week.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I lost all my fantasy.
What's up,
leagues.
Tim?
I had a mixed week, mixed review.
Okay.
My week has been pretty good, No studying this week at all. That feels good. Last weekend I went to Atlanta to celebrate our friend Angel's birthday. So a little shopping, a lot of eating, a little drunk bowling. That was fun.
Ain't no punks trying.
They had to put them little things on the gutter.
No, we don't bowl with those. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, they did it granny style.
We don't bowl granny style.
Y'all had the what's the name?
Thank
The little,
you very
the
much.
little
Nah, we
roller
ain't
coaster
none of
thing?
that because we some real G's out here. Some bowling G's. Anywho, I did want to shout out Angel. She's creating her own herbal tea line. Soft launch is this Sunday. It's called Yeah That Tea. Angel, I'm sorry I didn't say it in a Geechee accent.
Why didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anywho, so yeah, it's a soft launch. She is providing, hold on, I want to make sure I get this correct. She will be providing herbal smoke, Like, because you can smoke, herbs, just
No, I
like
get
weed
that
or whatever. She'll be
we're talking about
providing, of
cannabis?
course, regular tea. No, just herbs, not weed, just regular herbs.
You gotta clarify that because I'm just saying.
Bath soaks and
What's up, Donnie?
herbal mixes for yoni steams. So anything like that.
I know what yoni means.
She said she wants it to be the herbal trap house of America.
Wow.
Oh shit! I like that.
So basically, when
Okay.
you order it, you can place your orders, but the sizes that you can order these things in, you got your dime bag, you got your eighth, you got your quarter, half ounce, pound, hey,
Quarter herb, half a herb,
Hey.
whole herb.
Okay. If that's your theme song, girl, we got you.
Exactly.
So
man.
she will be launching a Facebook page and all of that. So you can order online. She's in Atlanta, but she willing to ship. So
Okay,
get out your girl.
Check. You know what? I like that. I like when we plug other people's stuff. Because, it's good to know that we got other people doing things.
Got them trap
Yeah,
herbs.
and I have personally tried like 4 of her mixes.
Good to see you too,
so
Donnie.
I like them.
Okay.
What do they have? Do the mixes have like an effect on you, like they calm you? Or?
So she's working on different kinds. She would have to get more into what the different mixes do, but that's always been her thing. Like she's always used herbs to cure whatever was going on with her. So that's like a passion of hers.
Okay,
that's what's up. I mean, I might want to actually link up with something like that. Because I might need some herbs to help me out with some shit. It might be able to help out with my anger or something, man. Because I have an angry soul, yo.
Damn,
I think she got something for that.
Bro, I just been on edge a lot lately, dog.
so, bro.
I don't know. Shut up.
I think she got something legal for that.
Oh. What about you, Oz? How was your week, man?
Shit. Whoa, my week.
Damn, why you sound like an old person about to work on a car?
Shit. They got them young whippersnappers.
That's exactly what.
He said that, he's like, shit. Like, yeah, the cigarette hanging out your mouth.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
They got them
A menthol Newport or a Salem.
You ain't say it. He got some cools. He got cools and Pall Mall.
Dang, dog.
He out here
sitting in the front pocket of the button up.
Exactly. Hanging off the leg like. Got them young girls out there, man. Let me die, son, man.
Let me say something. Like,
them thoughts there, boy.
You like, you out there get that young cock, boy? Get that young cock. Yo, yeah. That's what they called it. Yeah. What's up, Yolanda? Or she said somebody's grandma was calling her Orlando for the longest. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna. I had to put it out there. YOLO. My bad. It was YOLO. That's what me and Mark called it. YOLO. But nah, my bad. Oz, how was your week, man?
Well, I've been trying to find shit for the podcast. Actually, I was trying to get I was trying to get a Surface Pad Pro 2, so maybe it'd be better streams. But I figured out how to stream better with this laptop, so it should be coming out a little bit clearer.
Okay. Like Technical shit.
I'll take man.
It
do the tech man.
It would have been kind of like a personal use laptop at the same time. It'd be helping for the podcast. But I mean, hopefully this one does good right now. I just got a new motherboard for it. Fix that up.
That's what's up.
I don't know what the fuck all they mean, but that sounds good. It sounds good.
I was at motherboard and your mama sick? Yeah. Like, what's going on? Like, what? I mean, that's Josh. He's like, you tell him some shit. He don't know what the fuck going on, dog.
He talking about some Surface Pro. I'm like, sounds good. I don't know what the fuck it mean, but
you know what a Surface Pro is, though.
It's a damn tablet.
It's a tablet. It's a tablet with a keyboard.
Oh, I thought you said Surface. I thought you said service. My bad. Okay. I'm like, what the fuck is a service?
A Surface Pro?
Yeah.
You know what that is.
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm like, talking about personal use. I don't know if you're doing a porncast or a podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Surface Pro?
He's on the Unfamous Podcast. That's what
You
you're trying to do, bro?
You a pro job, bro?
You out here trying to get them VJs?
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. My week was pretty good, man. Started a new schedule, worked 6 days straight, feeling great.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I feel great actually. Like I thought I would be tired after doing that. I think it's because I wake up a little earlier now. I'm just, I'm up. I go work out. I take my, drink my smoothie, eat some oatmeal. I'm good to go. You know
doing yoga?
Actually, I would like to get into that. I want to do hot yoga. It's good for your body, good for your joints and all that.
Hot yoga.
Yeah, it's like you in a hot ass fucking room.
Yeah, they turn it up. Yeah,
turn
you be
the heat
sweating.
up,
I can't
Plus,
do
it's
that.
bad when
I
all
get
the
angry.
impurities out of your
I
body.
get angry when I'm there. So
I
kickboxing
wanna,
is where I sweat.
and I want to do jiu-jitsu also. So I need to go ahead and look into that so I can go do some jiu-jitsu, some yoga. I want to do more things to take care of this body of mine. You know?
Yeah, and it'll release endorphins, so you don't have to be so ornery.
I'm ornery as fuck, yo. I'm not even gonna act like I'm not. Yeah.
Like say,
Is that my nigga Prime?
Shit.
What's up, Prime?
Gosh.
What up, Zoe?
Bruh, I'm about to say, bruh, you need to chill. You ornery? You need to chill.
That's when I'm old and horny. I'm old and horny. Nah, man. I just, I always tell people, it's not that I'm usually angry. I'm just always, y'all see me in serious mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm at work, I'm silly as shit. But outside of work, I'm serious. Like,
It's so backwards.
It is. I go to work to relax. People don't get it. Like, I chill at work, yo. Like, I go up there to hang out with my friends all day. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't mind it. Like, everybody else hates working there, but I'm like, I get to hang out with y'all guys. Y'all make me laugh. I'm cool with it. Like, thank you. You know, I came from a horrible situation where niggas was suspending me and almost firing me. Now I'm hanging out with friends. Yeah, let's do this. So, but, it is what it is. But first topic of the night, guys. What's up? What you got for me? What's up? What y'all want to talk about? Because we got a lot we can talk about, guys.
That's true.
Should we start off with the obvious of the student who got killed?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
To the family,
yep,
everybody, the children, and everybody.
I can only imagine a parent who seen their kid go to school and think it's a normal day. They'll probably get a call at work like, your son's been killed in school. You're like, what? Like, that's
I mean, I know how it feels to, I know my mom knows how that feels, honestly. I know she definitely knows. You know what I'm saying? People don't know not my youngest, but second youngest brother was murdered. You know what I'm saying? When he was 15. So my mom knows how that feels. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the family that lost their kid, it's a horrible situation. I happened to see something on Facebook the day of where people was like, yo, there's a shooting at Butler. And I'm like, the fuck is going on at Butler? Like, that's not a bad school, really, from what I've
never known Butler to be.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I'm like, what's going on?
If they said Garinger or West Charlotte or some shit like that, you be like.
So where is Butler?
Butler.
What the fuck is Butler?
I'm not even gonna lie. I cannot remember where Butler's at.
I can't either.
I cannot remember. Like, anybody who lives in Charlotte and remembers where Butler is, please tell me. I cannot remember. You remember? You know where Butler's at?
I know where Vance and Independence.
Yeah,
but I don't know where Butler is.
I can't place to see what's.
I want to kind of say it's off Independence somewhere, but I'm not sure.
Exactly.
But actually, it's not nothing we can't look up on Google Maps. So I mean, it's like,
yeah. You could just look it up. My bad. We didn't even think about that shit. Like, like niggas ain't got phones and shit.
There was another video that surfaced.
It's off. It's in Matthews. Matthews Mint Hill Road. It is off. It's
off Independence. Yeah. No,
it's off of. Yeah, it's off Independence.
Okay. I'm sorry, we didn't mean to cut you off. What you just said?
I was just saying there was another video that surfaced about a fight that took place before.
Now, we'll get to that
they
in
were
a
saying
second.
that it may have something to do with it or something.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second because the whole.
I don't know anything about this.
The whole thing that everybody was saying that kids was hiding and they were like people were posting text messages from their kids saying they're shooting in the school and this and that. These are my Facebook friends. They like they kids are hiding in the closet and stuff like that. Parents were upset because they're like, okay, they apprehended the young man, and a lot of them, they just saw somebody get shot. A lot of them kids saw somebody get shot and killed.
Yeah.
The parents were like, yo, I'm gonna come up here and get my child. School wasn't letting nobody out.
Yeah.
They weren't letting anybody out. I don't know what the reason was behind that, but they weren't letting nobody out. I know parents were
probably just a safety precaution because you don't know
exactly. That's how I'm looking at it. But
you can't control the situation if you don't have people moving in and out.
Exactly. But, a knee-jerk reaction from most people would be like, "Oh, fuck that! I want my kid out of there because something just happened." So
yeah,
but more could happen with that.
Yeah, but again, people aren't thinking about that at the moment. You know what I'm saying? They're just looking like, I gotta get my kid. So I'm trying to figure out where this young man got the gun from.
I think I read in the article he had it in the. Hold on, let me go back to the. I think it was something like he said he had it in the woods somewhere and he picked it up before he went to school.
Oh yeah, he hit it like he hit it out in the woods.
Yeah, he hit the gun, but I don't know where he initially got the gun before he hit it in the woods.
So I don't think it's like he probably had a gun he just was saving for a rainy day or something like this. It turned to be that rainy day, so
yeah.
And like, if we want to do like, I saw the video of the actual what happened the day before, and apparently he was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, he was getting jumped
by that kid that he shot. They were in a group, and the kid that he shot was actually like kind of like walking around, not really getting involved. They said, but kind of just walking around looking from the outside and just watching them while people were jumping them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's kind of like.
So, this brings up the question because I've seen at first people were saying, "Oh, that piece of shit kid," this and that, which I'm not gonna call the kid a piece of shit. I never do that. I'm not gonna call you a piece of shit. When you shot somebody, yeah, it's horrible. It's extremely horrible. Somebody has lost their life. Somebody lost a son, brother, you know, cousin, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nephew, all that shit. I'm not gonna call the kid a piece of shit because, you know, you always want to wait until you see all the facts. So now that we see all the facts, when people were like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, if my kid was getting jumped like that, I'm not saying I would want him to go shoot somebody, but you can see why somebody would do that. Because, you know, some kids, you know, they don't know how to handle bullying. Like, and I don't want to make it seem like these kids are like different from the way it was when we grew up, because we got bullied, but we handled it differently.
You handle it with your fists. I mean,
yeah, we just go beat each other up, and then, you know, either we gonna keep beating each other up, or we just get tired of fighting. But I think it's just a whole different vibe now, where they're just resorting to like, you know what, fuck this, yo, I might just go shoot somebody, and it makes you wonder, how long has this young man been bullied?
Yeah.
Because this could have been an ongoing thing, right?
Yeah.
Could have been going on for years or whatever it is, from just them couple of dudes anyway. Because when you look at the kid, he don't look like he a danger at all.
No.
I mean, though you can't really judge looks on how people might react to things, but he looks like he's a pretty decent kid for the most part.
And he said the kid who got killed, like, as soon as he seen him, he just ran up on him and punched him in the face. Now, I'm not going to speculate. I'm just wondering if the kid who punched him in the face, since he got jumped, if the young man who killed him thought like, yo, maybe he in a game, and he was like, it's just me going up against all y'all niggas, so
exactly.
I got to get a gun to protect myself because it's just me.
Another thing, from the fight the day before or whatever, one of those people had a knife or something.
Yeah.
So
So it's like,
you know, I was saying like in the group chat that either they gonna get me or I get them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. That's what it came down to him. I feel like that's what it came down to.
I think that was his mentality too.
So this is the question I want to pose to everybody. I mean, do you feel? I mean, in y'all hearts of hearts, do y'all feel like this might be justified, even though it is definitely wrong and it's a crime? But do you feel like, yo, I have to protect myself? You know, I mean, can we see it from his point of view?
I think
we can make an argument for him.
I think if in this state, I wonder how they're going to try him in this state, because like in Florida, that's the stand your ground law, basically, right? Where he felt threatened for his life.
Well,
but you don't bring a gun to school.
So let me understand, because when he shot the other young man, you said that he walked up on him and punched him in the face.
Young man who got killed, yeah.
So he was hit and then he shot the gun.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Okay. So the boy who shot him was punched in the face.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's what he's telling the public. That's what I read on the article.
Uh-huh.
And on top of that, they got the video from the day before of him getting beat up.
Right.
Yeah. So he almost has like a strong argument, but at the same time, the fact that he brought a gun to school,
that might be the problem. Yeah,
this was like,
but if we take the school part out of it, the location of where the gun was when he had it on him, and just the incident in itself of him being attacked a day prior, and then the person punching him in the face, and he already having a gun on him. Mm-hmm. Let's just say it happened in a park or out in the street somewhere, and you take the school part out of it. Would he be justified in that?
Yeah, actually.
That's a hard part. Because like I said, I grew up in a different era where you just handle it with your fists.
I can't say that he would be justified, but I can say I can understand why his actions came to that point.
Right.
I don't know if they have the same. I'm assuming that they have the same drug ground law here because it's applicable in most states. I don't know for sure, but either way, the other charges are gonna be an issue. Like having and is the gun legal?
Yeah, that's
gonna be an issue in and of itself. So it's a lot of different issues. I would be curious to know just like how long this has been going on. Has he talked to anybody? Like
they said students knew that some shit was gonna go down that day.
Yeah.
So kids always know.
Yeah, but I don't think they knew that it was going to escalate into a murder. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, but yeah.
But I mean, they probably just thought, it's going to be a fight. You know, we're about to see a fight.
But and I also feel like, and I don't know if this was the case, when y'all were growing up or whatever, but I just feel like when I used to talk to my mom, like, there wasn't a whole lot of situations where you would hear about people jumping people. Now, you might fight multiple people one-on-one, but I don't really agree with the whole we gonna jump you. Like why? For what?
I've been jumped once in my life.
I don't see the point for it. I don't see the point.
There is no point. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
When I got jumped, It was the last day of school. I was going to Myrtle Avenue Middle School in Irvington, New Jersey. Last day of school. I'm walking home. I don't know these niggas at all. I've never seen them a day in my life. I never seen them even in my school. Like, I don't know them. Niggas jump me. I'm like, I go and tell my grandfather. He's like, yeah, you must have did something. I'm like, I don't know them. Yeah, I ain't do shit.
I mean,
like, that's how my parents looked at it. Like, you must have did something. Don't nobody just jump people. I'm like, yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Because, like, I remember,
like, niggas just ain't got no sense.
Because I remember going to middle school in Florida, like, I was walking home and, like, they had droves. I say droves of just people just out there waiting to jump people.
Yeah, that's how
it was ridiculous. Like, I used to have to run home because I didn't want to get jumped. You know what I'm saying? I ran straight out of school, went straight home.
Oh, let me put this in. Niggas ain't fucked me up though. I'm just saying, like, I'm just letting y'all know, like, niggas ain't just
niggas ain't fucked me
up. They ain't stomped me out
and shit.
What I'm saying? Like, I had a swollen,
a
little cut.
Still pretty out here.
I had a little cut lip. I held my own and shit. And I should. The sad part is, right after niggas was like, all right, I done fought niggas off, and like, all right, what's up? Niggas on left. I go around the corner, about 10 of my niggas are waiting there. They're like, what happened? I'm like, I just got jumped. They're like, you want to go get him? I was like, nigga, I'm going home, bro. Like, I don't want to fight no more. I'm done.
Here's my. I have several thoughts about jumping. First of all, to answer your question, I think the reason people jump, I do too, and I agree. I think the reason people jump somebody is to ensure victory. They feel like that's the only way of winning against that person. Like, that's the only surefire way you know you're not going to take an L.
Well, most of the time.
I mean, I'm saying that's their thought process going into it. I'm not saying they won't catch your ass.
Yeah, I just seen a couple.
My thing about it is, if you jump a motherfucker and you don't knock his ass out or he's seriously injured, then what was the point? Mm-hmm. It was. And if you get your ass, I've seen videos where motherfuckers jump a motherfucker.
And their whole ass handed to them.
And that motherfucker beat all of y'all ass. Yeah. One man come now if you take an L like that,
bigger. Now you really
ain't no coming back from no shit like that. And you know niggas put it on camera. So
I did see a video of this one dude. He got jumped, right?
You talking about we came back and beat everybody's ass?
He beat everybody's ass one at a time.
One of the best videos I ever seen.
Knocked on their door. Was like, yeah, bro, run me my fade.
Yes.
Run me my fade.
Yeah,
and then whoop their ass.
That was a great video.
Somebody was like, nah, fuck that. They jumped me yesterday. They're like, oh, all right, let me go.
Yeah. How you gonna jump into that? Like, let him handle his business.
Let it go.
Like, that was some whole hood taking shit. Like,
I loved it.
Oh, I loved it.
You said it was some hood taking shit. Not Liam Nelson.
I got a set of skills.
His name Lameek Johnson out here.
Liam Jenkins.
Yes, Liam Jenkins.
That actually sounds like a black person's name right now. Damn,
Liam Jenkins.
Shout out to Liam Jenkins.
Shout out to Liam Jenkins. That's your new name. Exactly. Wherever you are.
Stupid, bro. But I mean, it's one of the moments. Like I said, I can empathize with this young man as far as feeling like he has to bring a gun to school. Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to get bullied. You know what I'm saying?
And I like even listening to your story from when you were growing up, and like a friend of mine, because he grew up in New Jersey up until he was like 13. So and just listening to those stories, like. I would hear about things like that. I would see it on TV and movies, but where I grew up, like, it just wasn't, like, niggas would fight. There might be riots, you know what I'm saying? Because we had Buford Island, all this other stuff. So there would be riots, niggas would shoot, all of that happened, but it wasn't a case of, oh, I'm afraid to, or something could happen to me if I walk from my school to the next block or whatever like that. Yeah. Like, I couldn't imagine growing up in that environment. So,
we had an episode about that, actually, when we was talking about, well, I guess some people, when they see their friend in a fight, their instinct is to jump in and fight. But we actually had an episode about that. Me and Sean was like, one of us shoot the fade, I'm going to let you fight one-on-one. And John was like, nah, nigga, I'm jumping. I'm like, bro, let that man handle his shit.
Like, to this day, like, my dad, like, I remember my dad used to get so mad at me because he'd be like, you know, you your sister's keeper, you got to look out for her, blah, blah, blah. Let me first say, my little sister is like me times 100, so she don't need no help.
Okay.
However.
So you like Cardi B and she Hennessy?
I mean...
Yeah,
a little bit.
She like Rob. She out here just going.
She done stepped to women before I did, and they had the issues with me.
Oh, okay.
She on 10. She got her name honestly, but I was just like, listen, unless this person jumping them. Mm-hmm. As a sister, I feel like my biggest thing is to say, hey, you sure you want to do this? You sure? Ain't no better way. I'm gonna try to talk you out of some foolishness. But if you gonna shoot the one, and you catch the fade, that's just what happened. Take your loss, come back, re-up, hit the puncher bag, do whatever you feel you need to do. If you need to redeem yourself.
That's how we feel.
But I'm not saving you from no ass whooping.
I've had homeboys who straight up told me, like, back when I was younger, they was like, yo, we go over here, and some shit happened, I'm jumping in, like, I don't give a fuck if you beating that nigga. I know niggas who, I can knock a nigga out, and they still gonna jump in and stomp that motherfucker. I'm like, bro, chill, we ain't got to do all. I done already won the fight. Why are you...
Niggas like that, I try.
That's like hanging around 100 Khabibs, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas ready
Y'all ain't got
to
any
smoke.
Khabib, bro.
I'm gonna tell you something. I used to hang out with a nigga.
Oh boy, Habib never got my medal.
I used to hang out with a nigga. Anytime we went somewhere, he didn't go to, like, we going to holler at females, turn up. He going to look for a fight, like one of them type of dudes.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm like, bro.
I think the only time I would be willing to jump in, and this is like when me and my friends, like, we'll go out, and most of the time, we have like our brothers and male friends that we'll go with, because sometimes guys get out of hand. But if we're by ourselves and you jump stupid, then I'm ready. Because I feel like that's an unfair advantage. Like, you a man, you probably big, like, we gotta jump you, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. From what I've seen and from what I've experienced, women are quick to jump a motherfucker faster than men are.
Oh, I've seen it.
Women do not shoot the fair one-on-one. They will jump your ass.
They will roll on you. I've seen it.
Y'all ain't shit sometimes.
I've seen it.
Y'all
I'm telling you.
sometimes.
I saw a girl when I was in high school. We used to have little house parties and stuff. This was before they started shooting up in little one-bedroom trailers. But
wow. Put that disclaimer in there.
One way in, one way out. Niggas are shooting. No, they ain't got no sense. But I saw a girl get her behind whooped just because she was looking in the direction of a girl, and she was like, "Oh, I thought that bitch was staring at me," and she got jumped real talk. I was like, "That's savage."
That's just ignorant.
We're back to this young man at school.
Yeah, back to that.
I'm gonna say his mentality was like the guys who he killed. I believe he probably had a clique of niggas with him and the guy who, the young man who shot him probably was by him lonesome. I don't know if he had any brothers or any homeboys who had his back, and he probably felt like, yo, I ain't got nobody got my back, but I got this motherfucking gun. I know, worst case scenario, I got this, and he probably felt like his back was against the wall.
What's going on?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I just think that was his whole mentality going into it, like, because even in that article, he said he got the gun from the woods, and he said he prayed that he wouldn't have to use it. So to me, I think it was the worst case scenario where he felt like he was.
I don't think he
probably wasn't even.
I don't think
he probably wasn't even shooting to kill. He just wanted them to like leave him alone.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's a tragic situation because they're gonna throw a book at him.
Yeah,
they are. What's up, Kadeem? What's going on?
What's gonna happen?
Honestly, I don't know any defense for that. I mean,
I don't think he
only because it was in a school. That school shit is what's going to pit the nail.
Oh yeah. And the thing, here's what's really going to kill me about this, because there's been over 100 school shootings since the year started.
Oh yeah,
and
he's going to be lumped in.
He will, and because not only is he going to be lumped in, right, but because he's a black male, right, he is going to be the face of punishing school shooters, like the face, and he's probably, I'm making a huge leap here, but he's probably the most sympathetic, for lack of a better term, the most sympathetic shooter in that category. Like I wouldn't even consider him.
Because it's not like he went there and was randomly shooting people. Yeah, he didn't know.
I was like, I wouldn't even consider him a quote unquote school shooter, because he wasn't like, oh, I'm about to cause damage to everybody. It was like, oh, these niggas jumped me before. I'm scared. Like I don't want, you know what I'm saying? It was a different mindset, but because it happened at a school.
And that's the thing that I think that's going to kill him.
It's unfortunate when you see shit like that too, because it's like, we've been good for the longest as far as not having some shit put on us, I guess, as far as really extreme violent shit. That's it's always one. DC Sniper, it's always one. It's always an anomaly. Yeah. I mean, we forgot about that nigga. Like,
I ain't forget about that nigga. My brother was in high school when he was in that area, so we was always scared.
Well, this is the funny. Well, not even the funny part, but I mean, this is kind of the segue to something else that I heard that kind of goes along with that. Don Lemon, he has said that I guess the terroristic acts and all that shit in America are from white men. That's what he's been saying.
The overwhelming majority, like that's what you see. You see white men, like that's
now. Disclaimer for anybody who listens to this shit, we are not bashing white people.
We just saying facts.
We're just saying
That's
what
facts.
we've seen. Okay,
that's facts.
This is what we've
Ain't
been
nobody
seeing.
lying.
I mean,
Look it up.
I'm just saying it happens.
But yeah, I mean,
and you know, the best thing you can
Google
do as a white dude is be like, you know what? They are crazy as fuck. I'm not with them.
There's some other way.
Yeah, there's some other white dudes that I'm not with. I'm not doing that shit.
But you know, a lot of white people are like, well, yeah, but all the crime in Chicago is blacks on killing blacks.
Like, bro, that's one city.
Because it's predominantly black.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm like, bro, that's one city.
Yeah,
That is one city, dog. Like, you worrying about one city?
Listen.
and we've had an episode about that where shit like that happening. They never call them a domestic terrorist. They always say something's wrong with them. Something like that.
So when it comes to this young boy, I would hope they would give him at least, don't call him a goon, don't call him a thug, don't call him no animal, nothing like that. Say he was somebody who was getting bullied. Yeah, he defended himself, and he just happened to kill somebody. What's up, Joe?
It's gonna be a huge thing in this trial. Like the wording.
Area ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bullying on top of shooting in the school.
I ain't gonna lie, this shit is a lot of shit.
It is. What I hope happens is people who into the anti-bullying campaign, cyberbullying and all that, I hope they take this situation and show and highlight it and show that a small bullying incident could lead to some other consequences you didn't even foresee happening.
Yeah.
And I hope they take that into account to strengthen their campaign against bullying in schools as far as to show that, yo, you bullying a kid, you don't know how you're going to react. He can come back and kill you. Like, you think you're just going to bully him and tease him and whatever and have your way with him, but you don't know how he's going to react to your bullying. And it could be consequences you're not really ready for.
Same time, Josh, it can have an opposite effect.
Well, I was just going to say, either way, I hope they step up their campaign on anti-bullying where it could go either way, where they take this incident and highlight how things can go way further than people foreseen.
So how are you differentiating between a bullying episode?
I don't think we can hear you, Joe.
Oh.
You know how that goes, Joe.
Yeah, it's all right.
Go ahead.
How are you differentiating between an anti...
Talking to
Yes?
Yeah, I can hear
you.
Okay,
right now?
Yeah,
all right, cool. All right. So, first of all, how do we know it's bullying? Because I'm hearing different reports. But even if it was, someone died. Yeah. Is that how we are teaching children to resolve their conflicts? Because what's the difference between... Because I understand that the guy that was shot pushed him in some fights and they were wrestling. He was on the floor, he got up and shot him in the back. So...
And he was jumped by his friends the day
before.
According to him.
No, they have video.
It's on video.
All right, so I've been jumped before, and I don't think the root cause is to shoot anybody. But anyway.
Yeah, that's what we said.
But
our generation.
We're from a different era.
Yeah,
that's what we said. This is a new era.
Different era, bro.
People's shoes now. Like that's the go-to. Period.
Not generally, but not generally.
Yes, generally. Real talk. Listen. All right. That's how I promise you. I've seen
niggas be shooting niggas for nothing now. They don't care.
Well,
for nothing.
I mean, in my lifetime, that's not the general norm.
Again,
we're from a different generation. We fight it out. They don't fight now. They don't fight.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, they don't fight now, bro.
He was
straight gunplay.
He was still jumped.
Yeah.
He was jumped, and there's no indication that the person that was shot was a goon like that.
Right. Nobody's a goon.
So, exactly.
So they're all kids.
But you gotta look at it like this. Let's say he wasn't a goon.
Only regular children are not shooting anybody stepping in their shoes. That's first point. So if you're talking about that's how the generation works. I only know of goons, true goons, that would really do that. Right? It's not a normal thing.
Again,
it's not expectation. No, it doesn't happen. I'm telling you. I know this generation. Right?
I mean, again, Joe, you from the 80s. You was up in New York. That's a whole different lifestyle.
You think so?
From here? Yes.
You think New York in the 80s was less?
No, it was way more violent. That's the whole point. So but I'm just saying, like niggas was still out there fighting, though. Like niggas, but see, y'all was known for slashing niggas and stabbing niggas back in the day.
I'm going to tell you about New York, first of all.
Oh, God damn it. I got started. You ain't about to teach me. I'm not a devil.
No. Nobody.
As a disclaimer, when the boy got jumped the night before, they did say it was a knife on the scene.
Yeah.
So it was a weapon involved.
I've been in situations where somebody brandished a knife for me. It doesn't necessarily
mean Joe, that's you.
That you go back.
You're Joe Cool.
But you can't. It's a normal. That's all right.
Okay, so when you,
tonight,
what I'm saying is basically when you bully somebody or somebody feels threatened by you by physical intimidation, you can't predict how that person's going to react.
Exactly.
How do you differentiate between? But that's still not necessarily.
Why would he? I mean, why would you think he would bring a gun to school if he didn't feel like he was getting bullied? He ain't gonna bring that there
because
for no
reason. He kept getting punched. He had no other recourse in his mind to.
I mean, some
that's the bottom line.
According to what he said, he was afraid and he didn't really want to. He was hoping that he wouldn't have to use the gun. It wasn't
a last resort.
I'm about to shoot these niggas because they jumped me.
I mean, the nigga snuffed him too.
It was
snuffed him first.
one-on-one, so get snuffed. My point is, it's a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, but if it would be different.
Like,
if it was a one-on-one that first time. But in the group that jumped him, the dude that hit him or whatever scuffle happened at school, that dude was also part of the group that jumped him previously. So it's not far-fetched to think, these dudes probably gonna jump me too.
I mean, and we get the part that's like
every day.
But they
My
don't.
point is,
okay,
can't,
I got a question though. Okay, here it is. Say we all get smacked around this table, right? All of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm just saying. Say all of us get smacked. Somebody
especially, but go ahead.
Especially they gonna smack the fuck out of you, dog.
am I just the target?
But
No.
John's not here right now, so I got.
Yeah.
So say they come in here and they smack all of us, right? You might smack that nigga back. You might cry. You might smack him back.
Wait, what? Yeah, what?
You might cry. I might just
not
run.
crying.
What I'm trying to say is we don't know how anybody reacts in any situation, no matter what.
It's very dangerous precedent. Laws are about case law and precedent, right?
Of course.
You go into this trial saying that is justifiable.
It's not.
No,
we're not saying that.
No.
We're not saying he's right for doing it. No. We're just saying we can understand why.
No, we never said it was right. Well, he's going to lose the case anyway because it happened in school. So that's pretty much his nail in the coffin. He brought a gun to school.
Because I'm pretty sure he probably figured that person did not have a gun. So my thing
of course
is,
not.
So okay,
so
let me ask
I would feel more comfortable if he did that in the moment, because if once that guy fell to the ground, if they didn't find a knife in him in that moment, then that whole argument about Friday, we don't know what happened on Friday. That's what he said.
I get that.
So he can say anything.
No, the Friday is when he shot him.
Thursday
is when he jumped.
Friday is when he had the fight in the parking lot at Harris Teeter, and Monday is when he had the
Friday is when he had the,
so the whole
Monday
weekend, I guess they're
the,
exchanging texts on social media or whatever they're doing, and he decides to take it into his hands that, you know what, I'm bringing gun next time because they're fucking with me. Now I don't know. Some people get fucked with because they start with people, and some people get fucked with because they just get fucked with. I don't know. How do you know that?
Niggas get snuffed every day, B.
They do. I'm just saying,
Now let's just say the young man who shot felt like his back was against the wall. He was just him. Let's say he didn't have any brothers, any cousins, any homeboys who would help come to his defense. And the dude he shot had a whole clique of niggas who was about to smoke. Don't you think that would, I'm not saying that's justifiable, but I would think somebody in that mind frame would feel like, let me get a gun because this nigga got a clique of niggas. They didn't already jump me. So I know he got some niggas who with the smoke. I ain't got nobody who got my back like that. So I'm going to get a gun. I don't think he intentionally, I don't know if he really meant to kill the dude, but he probably had that gun out just to let niggas know, like, yo, y'all not just finna run over me like that. Like, it's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, it took a left turn from what he had in his mind, and somebody ended up losing their life. But I think them jumping him, and him probably not having anybody who had his back, you know, because if he had some brothers or cousins in that school and he was click tight, it wouldn't have even went down like that. Niggas would have just rumbled in the hallway. But because
that's what happened. It was a one-on-one fight.
But I'm saying, he already got jumped by the niggas people.
No, he was in a fight with the boy's friend. There's no indication that he was
jumped. The video
he
got jumped. I'm telling you,
on him.
He got jumped.
He was not fighting just one dude.
No, he got jumped. I'm telling you, he got jumped.
Was he shot?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But you said he fought one-on-one. They was one-on-one. That's not true.
No,
yeah, he was jumped. He was.
He was jumped?
He was, yes.
I'll be like this, son. You saying people get jumped every day.
Yeah, they do.
I told my story of how I got jumped. I got jumped. It was what it was. You know what I'm saying? I fought back at what it was.
I mean,
people, I'm not, like, again.
I just feel like that argument, like, oh, it happens every day. Oh, it happened to me when I was younger. Just deal with it. That's what's created this culture with these kids who are being bullied. I don't know if he is or isn't, But these kids who do feel bullied, they feel like they have nobody to turn to because everyone they turn to is like, oh, well, that's just kids.
Exactly, and that's what I was about to get to.
And that's how it escalates to that because they feel like they have no other choice.
Put it like this. I understand this. I have children. I've taught in the school systems in New York for 10 years. So whether I grew up in the 80s or 90s, it doesn't matter because I'm on the ground. So what I'm saying to you is, when I deal with children, when I've dealt with my own, I've dealt with other people's children, I do listen to their tales of bullying, and there's ways to resolve that conflict. But if people, the wording like the I said is important. If people go into the situation and saying that is in any way a conversation, now not just what you guys said, but what I've heard on the conversations where the bullying, the person that was bullying the person, the parents and himself are more responsible for this shooting than the person who actually did the shooting. And then once you do that, how do you differentiate this between a stand your ground scenario? Because if you go into this court case,
what's up, Ash?
If you go into this court case, then you're going to be talking about things like, okay, I was threatened. It's the same wording as when a cop says, I felt threatened. And
hold on. I was threatened and I felt threatened. Those are two different things.
He was not threatened.
No, but that's what you just said. That's what you just said.
No, he felt threatened. No,
okay.
The cop said I felt threatened. Like, he felt threatened enough to shoot him. My point is, just like we say with a cop, like, okay, he was this, he was that, and he felt that he was going to do something to me, so I shot first. What's the difference?
Okay, I'm gonna say, I think that here's the difference, right? With the cop saying that happened in that moment without him having any prior history with the person he shot or killed or felt threatened by. Whereas this student has a video of him being jumped by the person he killed, and that's why he felt threatened, because there's a history of violence or a history of them having physical altercation before, and that's why he knew he's already been, in that situation where he got jumped by the even if the boy who never hit him, his friends jumped him, like he was standing by the side. So obviously they on his side.
That's my point. If the guy that he shot was not the guy that was jumping him, I'm assuming. From what he said in his report, he said the guy that he shot was with the guys that he fought. So previous to that, he just knows he was part of that clique, right?
Exactly.
All right. I mean, again.
So there's a history of them having.
If it was your son, you wouldn't want this to be the conversation. It's more about let the investigation play out. But I think that once you start using that kind of language, it's dangerous because it can be used in very deleterious ways to the overall community, right? So bullying is real, and I've dealt with bullying with events with my own children and others, and I think that it's all about conflict resolution. The guy was in the school. Like, if I know somebody doesn't have a gun, it's not self-defense. You can pretty sure know that at 7 a.m. in the hallway, I'm the only one with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that shit, it doesn't work for me. And if that had happened in the parking lot and the video came out that he was jumped by 3 people in the moment, then I would say, yeah, that makes sense. But, he knows they don't have a gun.
Yeah, obviously.
It's a bitch.
But let me ask you something. Do you feel like just because the boy didn't jump into the fray of Friday night because he didn't physically assault the boy, but his friends assaulted him, that he shouldn't feel threatened by him?
I feel that he could be intimidated by him, but I don't feel that.
Hey, what's going on?
I feel that once you even intimate that is a proper recourse, that somebody that you saw in a fight that didn't actually touch you claim that he.
But his friends did beat your ass. I'm saying, like, they beat his ass. Like, he didn't have to physically touch him. I'm saying,
right? If everybody that ever got their ass whipped by somebody in the school, my friends just go jump out the car and punch people in the face. I mean, we would all have been killed.
Oh yeah.
That was a cop. We did that shit all the time. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like once you start saying that, it's like it kind of takes away from the fact that you gotta deal with conflict resolution and.
All of those things are true, but maybe there was no one there to help him with conflict resolution. Like, because your children and the children that you come into contact with in those 10 years, they had you. But I personally don't know a lot of adults who know how to sit down and handle conflict. They don't even do it in their own adult life. So who could guide him?
I ain't gonna lie, because you see the people we fucking work with don't even know how to handle fucking conflict.
It's not a regular skill, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the black community, and as far as I know, and black fathers and whatever, if their child come up to them and tell them, I'm being bullied in school, they'll be like, nigga, punch that nigga in the face.
And the next
you
thing
mean?
is,
Why are you even coming to me with
the
this?
next thing is, if you feel like you're gonna lose, you better pick something up. That's
That's
what I've always heard. That's
it's never a conversation where let's talk to the bully and find out why he's doing this.
I've never heard that.
Let's try to resolve this peacefully, and it's never been like that.
I was just telling my
that nigga bullying you.
My mom was like,
beat his ass.
Listen, go through the proper channels, tell who you need to tell, but if nobody does anything, you go to their ass and you do whatever you need to do to win. That's
bully counseling 101 in the back room.
That's what she said.
I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, and we're in no means saying that it was justifiable. And before you came in, that's what I said, because I was like, I can't say that it was justifiable. I can't say that at all. But what I'm saying is, I understand how he could get to that point. I understand in his 15-year-old mind how he could get to that point. But it's not okay, and he does have to be punished, and he will be punished. Probably more so than any other of the 100 and something shooters.
I think if this had happened outside of school grounds, he might have had a slim chance of claiming self-defense. Yeah. But the fact that it happened on school grounds and other people's kids was around, and it could have been innocent people hit by the gunshot, shit like that is going to weigh into his.
I think if it's shown that this person was bullying him and threatening him, and they can find that out online through text and all that kind of thing, that justice will be served. That he should serve some time.
Yeah,
definitely not.
Definitely.
I feel like he should be convicted, but the time that he is sentenced to, which that's usually what they do when they do the sentencing, they take into account everything surrounding the situation when they sentence.
I mean, since he's a teenager, he'll probably be in juvenile or something like that.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I hope they don't throw him in a big man.
Yeah, because the whole school shooting thing, the fact that it happened in a school, it just adds extra pressure onto the public. And now here's someone who's not white or from an affluent, who's not white, who's not from an affluent family, who doesn't have a full-on, legal defense team that's like, oh, well, this happened. And he doesn't have all of that. So it's very easy to just throw the book at him and say, all right, we're hard on school shooters now.
I hope that they take into account that if he felt like he had to have a gun to defend himself against high schoolers, don't throw him in regular jail where he got to defend himself against grown ass convicts.
I mean, they can't put him in until he.
Nah, it depends on the crime. They can throw you in big boy jail.
Oh.
Yeah, especially for murder, if they choose to.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to switch topics just a little bit. It's still around talking about the schools, but it has to do with I guess kindergarten. I sent y'all a video in the group chat.
The Fight Club?
I just seen that shit. In St. Louis, right?
What city was it? St. Louis?
It was in St. Louis, right?
Yeah,
I seen that shit.
So, my mad kid is dying right now.
Hey, kid, you know what I said?
What did you say?
There's a recap of the Khabib versus.
First of all, let me just say I'm not laughing because it's okay, but the shit is funny. Like,
hey, is that the one where the little kid had a boxing glove on beating the shit out of
like,
the whole smash.
Oh, okay, yeah, Hulk smash.
So, and I was telling Terrell. Terrell, the first thing Terrell said, shout out to Terrell. He's watching right now.
First 48.
Mr. First 48. The first thing he says he's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. He's like, that shit sound like it's fun as fuck, bro. That shit look like it be fun as a motherfucker, bro. I was like,
that's exactly how he do it.
And I was like,
that's hilarious.
Nigga, nothing about that is good.
That's not okay.
It's not.
But I can remember, like in other people's family, not in my family, because my family wasn't close enough for that. But in other people's family, like they would pit cousins, brothers against each other. Like, fight it out, bro. Fight it out. Yeah, in the family. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I see that.
This was the argument not even an argument, but the point I was trying to make to him. I was like, yeah, them teachers, they're kind of stupid for doing that, but they're doing that with kids, right? They're like toddlers and shit. They don't know what they're doing is wrong. No. So say, they doing something else, and then they start fighting. And at first, like, well, it's okay when we do it when so-and-so has to do it. So now their moral compass is off.
But pause, Sean.
Which is bad anyway, because they don't really have much of a moral compass at that age anyway.
Pause, Sean. Think about what those gloves were made for. Think about it. Like,
see, this is why we don't let you
I'm
talk.
serious. No, but I'm serious.
Shit.
Why would you give advertise gloves like that to kids.
No, I get that part.
If you didn't want to sit there and punch each other out.
But that's when they at home. They're not in school organizing it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I looked at
a fight club.
I looked at the news.
Yeah, it was a fight club.
Now, I know the nurses were fired, but were they waging bets on who would win?
I think so.
Wow.
Hold on.
That's crazy.
The nurses that would do it.
No, it was the nurses.
I mean, not the nurses, but the teachers. I mean, not the teachers. Not nurses.
So was there any racial thing on here?
No, they were just.
I don't know racial.
They was pitting kids against kids and betting on who would win.
What was the race of the children though?
It was both.
It was mixed. I think it was
all kinds.
Yeah, it was a mixed daycare.
What up, Joe? Why we gotta talk about race on this one?
No,
I know Joe gonna be like, I know Joe gonna be like, I know they spend the money on the black kids. The black kids out there beating ass.
That's not what I was saying. I'm only bringing it up.
This is very like, yes, well, you know.
I'm only bringing it up because I was looking at, I think, the James Brown movie or whatever, and they're talking about how back in the day they would have black kids go into the ring and beat themselves to smithereens. And then the white.
Wait. Shout out to the fact that you said smithereens. I have not heard that word ever.
And they would bet, and they would place bets on the children.
You're just saying it sounds like this situation?
No, I'm saying like it's St. Louis, so they have a long history of that. But anyway, I'm just saying I don't know. I didn't see
obscure history.
I didn't see the video, but the history of this. They did that for entertainment a lot in the South. So I'm not sure if that's the case, but I didn't see the video. So I don't know.
It's wild.
There's no racial.
That's crazy.
But when I see stuff like that, then fast forward, you got a kid that's like, man, I've been getting my ass kicked since damn preschool.
Damn.
I mean, you built a whole bridge to get that together, boy. Like, San Francisco.
You ain't gonna give him a chance to get some fights in. He might have got some wins in. I'm good now. I got moved in preschool, but at least third grade I was somebody's ass.
I ain't never known nobody that lose every fight.
Right. Somebody wins when they playing Tekken, and he take L's in that too. Damn, bro. Shit. I'm not saying, look, I don't want to make light of the young man doing all that, but I'm just saying. I mean, you got situations where they come to like this. You got them kids out there doing this little fight club shit. Some kids don't want to fight nobody. Some people are just gentle natured people. They don't want to fight. They're like, I don't want to fight nobody. I don't like to fight. I don't know how to fight.
But those are usually the ones when you push them into a corner, it's a wrap.
Yeah. No, they usually kill people.
Yeah.
I just have a problem with, and now once again, if you're gonna do some dumb shit like that, why are y'all recording this shit?
Yeah, I don't get that part.
Why?
That's dumb as hell.
I don't understand.
Because niggas love recording shit.
Gonna get a whole lot of people in trouble.
So they can laugh later.
That's so ignorant about it. What's up, man?
Yeah, so they can record it for themselves, Joe. Yeah, they gotta post that shit online at the same time.
They did.
Like,
yeah, so it's stupid.
Everybody got to see this shit.
Exactly.
All
right, let's move forward.
Yeah, so I'm glad Joe's here because I mean, you're married, so I definitely want to hear your opinion, everybody's opinion. So, on Facebook recently, there was this post that this guy did. He's been married. I don't really know how long, but he was saying that in the time that he and his wife have been married, she's gained like 60 pounds. Mm-hmm. And for him, I guess the way in which she gained it is just unattractive to him. Mm-hmm. In that time, he has signed them both up like for gym memberships so they could work out. He started buying all the food, cooking all the meals to make sure they were eating healthy. He expressed to her, because she was like, I feel like you're withholding sex from me because, well, he said, we don't know what her side is, but she said that, she felt like he was withholding sex from her because she wouldn't lose weight, and he was just like, I'm just not attracted to you like this. That's not funny. Don't do that. I can't say it, y'all. Anywho, so he was like, I said all that to say, like, he's trying to go, like, the extra mile. Like, he's just like, do we need to go see a doctor? Do we need to go talk? Like, is this deeper? Like, what is it?
Yes.
And so when it was posted, like, most women were just like, oh, no, he ain't shit, blah, blah. Like, oh, he's supposed to love you no matter what, and blah, 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 all this other stuff. And when I saw it, I was just like, I feel like there was, to me,
yes.
I felt like there was a difference between just like, oh, I'm not effing with you, you gain weight, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Then I would be like, oh, well, he ain't shit. But I feel like he's done a lot, you know what I'm saying? And his point of view, I don't know hers, but his point of view is, I'm doing all these things and she's just not putting forth any effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't really see him as a bad person for the way that he went about handling the situation. And I also I didn't like the fact that they were juxtaposing loving someone and being attracted to them in the same sense. Like, just because he doesn't want to have sex with her doesn't mean he doesn't love her anymore. Mm-hmm. He's just not attracted to her. So,
it's a great topic, actually. Very complicated. Very complicated topic.
Oh shit.
Well, loving and being attracted to somebody sometimes may not be the same thing over time. But things happen in marriages. I would say that in previous situations, it's like say a woman is breastfed 2 or 3 babies, and her titties drop. I mean, it might not look the same. I'm just saying.
Listen, I already said when I have kids, that's going in the budget. After I get done, I'm getting them done.
Yeah, it's
going in the budget.
Oh my goodness!
I would just say that how a person what attracts a man to a woman and what turns them on is really complicated, and that's for him. If her gaining weight turns him off, then that's a very bad thing. And see what happens. Sometimes it's part of the marriage. And I can't for several reasons. I can't go to 325 pounds. That's 60 pounds from. Imagine me.
That was another point that I made.
That's a lot of weight.
I was like, if I get married and there's a certain body type that I'm not attracted to, so I don't care how old we are. My husband's gonna have to keep it, within bounds, or we're gonna have to work something out.
Both of y'all have, contribute.
I agree.
Imagine somebody's thin and they gain all 60 in their stomach as a woman. Like, no. I can't.
Bro, she gonna look like a little
Like, some people that have like that their legs ain't gonna ever get but so big, and it's all in their stomach. Like, I can't get up for that.
Not making fun of people.
No. I'm just saying
that's
a big difference.
Haley said looks fade regardless. He petty withholding is D.
But that's the thing. Withholding and not being attracted are two different things. Exactly. If you're withholding, then it's like, oh, I want to have sex with you, but I won't. But you cannot be attracted to somebody.
At the same time, you can say she petty for not losing weight.
Because
at least not losing weight, but at least not trying.
Why'd you roll your eyes?
Not losing weight. At least not trying.
At least not trying.
First of all,
if he put forth the effort, say, hey, babe, I want you to look like you used to. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck you, John. I said what I want.
Like that, and I like the way that you look like that. I'm saying wrong shit.
First of all,
but you gotta be able to have those conversations with your partner. Like you have to. You can't just keep that to yourself. You got because the alternative of not saying anything is cheating. Yeah. That's the alternative. And
because he's gonna go out there and crack
you more wrong for that.
You
more wrong for that.
Alternative.
Yeah.
But anyway, a man, like, how women say they can fake sex or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A man can't fake sex if he ain't attracted to you. If his dick don't get hard, it just ain't gonna get hard.
Bro, it just ain't gonna
But before that, I want to get to the
gummy worm and shit on. Oh man, this feels so good, baby.
Shit look like a wet noodle. It's not
cooked yet. It's not cooked yet. You like,
now,
you feel that, baby? Yeah, I feel it.
First of all, she violated the wedding vows because the wedding vows said.
Hold on,
what?
She violated?
Uh-oh. Yo, John said Planet Fitness only costs $20 a month.
Moving forward.
Is this in the wedding vows? I shall love you through thick and thin because it didn't say fat and thin. It said thick.
It says for better or for worse.
Well, goddamn it, I changed it to thick and thin. I love you through thick and thin, not fat and thin. You can't go past thick, so it's just that's a violation.
But listen, even that for better or for worse, that's love. He didn't say he didn't.
Well,
love
she's
325.
That's worse.
He didn't want to have. He couldn't have sex with her.
Wow.
It depends on how fast.
Yeah, she's not 325. She's not 195.
Okay, now.
But she's a. I mean, put it like this. It matters about the time. If somebody incrementally gains 60 pounds, 5 pounds at a time. You've been fucking them through those increments, so you should change it.
You got hit better in the bud within the first 50 times.
You've been fucking. So literally, if you fucked her 10 pounds ago, what changed so significantly
that you just can't.
You know what, though?
Like for me, if a woman has like the bunions, that is more important to me.
The on your
You talking about hammer time like Eddie Murphy on Boomerang?
I can't deal with bunions. Personally.
Yo, Terrell just wait. Terrell just pops out of nowhere talking some Adam and Steve. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like what?
I don't know, bro.
Good night, Terrell.
Like for me, that's a big deal. But you see that up front most of the time.
That's my thing.
I guess I just felt like he got so much flack, but I'm like, what else are you supposed to do? Like, you should be able to voice if you're not happy with your spouse, because if I don't wanna, if it's my spouse and something is wrong, regardless of what it is, I'm gonna let you know what it is, and we can work together and find a solution. Like, and not once did I hear him say, "Oh," or not. Do I remember him saying, "Oh, well, I messed with somebody else," or anything like that? Now, I do think, because maybe it's not a case of her not being able to lose the weight. Maybe she likes the way she looks now, and if that's the case, then I feel like they should just go their separate ways.
She started putting on that weight. You know what they said about them big jumps? They got some good ass pussy.
But how would he know?
Sometimes.
He was fucking. That's the whole point. Like, he wouldn't even know.
She got more muscle for the
She started at one. I think he said it was like 130. She like 5'3", 5'4". She started like 135.
She ain't even really all that bitch. She just thick up. She probably put on grown woman weight.
Okay,
that's all that is.
I remember listening to the guy Derek Jackson. Right, he said he was talking about love. He said I know.
But buff as fuck.
I was like, who is that? Oh,
buff ass black.
But he was saying a man won't change for a woman he don't love. He won't have any changes or whatever. Like, if he don't love you, he's just gonna be himself, and you're gonna have to deal with it or fuck you. But if he love you, he'll be willing. I'm just saying what the man said in so many words. I'm quoting here. Mm-hmm. If a man loves you, he'll be
paraphrasing.
What you said. So if he loves you, he'll be willing to make changes about himself. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe in a relationship, the man, is it fair to say the man might have made changes that for himself that his wife, wanted him to change about himself to make him a better man?
I get what I'm saying.
So why couldn't she give him that same energy when he's like, "Yo, can you change this?"
We don't know if we don't know her side.
That's why I said, is it fair to say? I don't know if it's
if it's a case of she just refusing to, or if it's a case of, oh, I'm trying and this is really hard and it's it's getting me down. Like, we don't really know the case. But he's also said, oh, that's true. But he's also said, like, if something more serious is going on, we can go talk to a professional. He suggested that as well. So I was like, he's like, what else can he do?
I don't know if
That's
he
what
cares.
he said he did.
I don't know if he cares. Put it like this: if somebody in a marriage, if somebody gets sick, first of all, we don't know enough about her,
right?
Her biological reality, right? So. If a person gets sick, if a person has some kind of troubles, because most people who are married, like that I know, most of the time, both people are not into fitness. Mm-hmm. It's like one or the other. Yeah. And most of the time, right? And most people I know, like somebody I know,
they into fitness, dick it ain't mine.
They generally one person's into it, one person's not. Nice. You don't usually see two long married people going into the gym together every day. Usually, right? So it's like, as a man, as people get older, you have to go to the gym and eat right. Because if you sit on the couch, you're not gonna be fucking good.
I mean,
you got that
you're not.
I do my best fucking on the couch. Gee,
you're 32, but if you're 50.
Eating
regular.
Oh, look! I'm gonna be still on the couch. I'm just gonna be laying there. I'm gonna like, get on top. Let's go.
Yeah, but that's assuming that you can remain hard. You're not healthy. That blood flow ain't getting there, bro.
It's gonna be there.
I'm just saying.
Skittles.
Oh shit!
All right. Outside of the pills that make you go blind.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you're blind.
I wear glasses. I'm already I'll be feeling their wrist.
Outside of that.
Okay,
outside of that. You want to be healthy enough for other reasons.
Yeah.
But men have responsibility as well when they get older to keep that up, because that's going to keep that up.
Right.
So, and women on some level, if they are able-bodied, they have a responsibility to try to do their best to keep themselves attractive. Because it's a natural thing. You can't lie about what turns you on.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very difficult territory. if you can and you're able to, put some
I wouldn't even want
effort.
to live
you
like
know,
that.
you gotta
I wouldn't even want to
live like what?
Lying about what turns you on?
Yeah.
Oh, that means you're probably a porn
As
star.
a man.
I mean,
Once
I
you
just feel
pop
like,
pills,
I just, because I like to, I feel like a lot of times, and I usually hear this from women more than I hear from men, but I feel like marriage and quote unquote love is romanticized, and you get like that movie fairy tale effect.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I hate
oh
that
well,
shit.
if you love me, then you're gonna love me forever, and this and that. When I think of marriage, I think of it in practical terms. So I'm thinking like, listen, when I turn 60, I want to still be able to get it in.
Yeah.
So what if something happens and he can't?
Shit.
Then what? We're going to have to rethink this
Oh,
marriage because I want to get mine. Like, that's the
Yeah.
stuff that I think about.
Yeah,
Like,
you trying to get them grandma yeeks cracked?
60 cent, let me tell you, as long as the yeeks can be cracked, they shall be cracked.
You
bro.
are, and your hips will be cracked.
And that's fine too.
I think
That's fine too. But I'm just saying, like, I think about it in practical terms. Like, it's easy to say, oh, I'm gonna love you forever, and sure, I'll love you forever. But if I'm gonna be married to you long term, I gotta want to fuck you forever too, or at least most of the time.
That means you gotta be able.
Wait.
You're gonna have to.
You gotta think about
Everybody
this. You gotta think about this. Whenever I be hearing about old people talking about like, oh, everybody be getting their yeeks cracked, and them old women, I'm like, you about to suck some old dick too?
I mean, they old shit.
Bro, you don't even want that.
Hey, I heard when they take out the dentures, it's a whole nother feeling. That's what I
So,
heard, bro.
I heard about that.
Gum action.
That's what I heard, bro.
I heard about that.
Oh, you trying to brush these gums with this meat?
trying to get some of that gum to him.
Lord, why did I?
Oh my
Well,
God.
okay, this is what I want to say. Aside, we don't know the details of their relationship. I don't know
We
what
don't.
they.
All we know is his side.
I'm just saying
in
in a generic form of somebody being with a female, and then over time they gain weight from their original shape when they met him and fell in love with him and was attracted to him. I think it should be, you have to keep it in some kind of range where you
I agree, because I
you know what I'm
expect my
saying?
significant other to do the same.
yeah, you got to keep it in some kind of range because
Equality.
once a man is not attracted to you, I'm not going to say he's going to cheat because I'm not going to put every man in that category.
Black
But
men don't cheat though.
Who?
yeah, what he
Black
said.
men- black men
Black
don't
men
cheat.
Black
Well,
men
my
don't
daddy
cheat?
must not be black.
What did you
He's
say?
not.
You said black men don't cheat?
Black men don't cheat.
Oh, you're joking. Okay, so I mean, knowing most people don't gain 60 pounds overnight, right?
Right.
That's true.
I mean, my thing is, if you're with some, like, how the hell does he look? I mean, that's his
I don't
opinion.
know.
Yeah,
But
right.
I would
I don't know how.
I would-
That's what I don't know
I-
the details.
I mean, he, I mean, he's,
Tyson
I mean, he's judging her. Probably not, right? So, if I'm with somebody and they gain 10 pounds a year for 6 years,
I hope it's in the
you
right
was fucking
places.
them through the 50 pounds.
Yeah, and you ain't saying nothing.
I mean,
That's why I kept. That's why I said
it
earlier
don't make no sense.
that pussy was good, so it didn't even matter. He was just like, you know what happened? She tried to put on some shit one day, and then he had to like probably help her. He's like, damn, baby, you getting kind of big.
Yeah, she probably put on some shit and was like, baby, how I look?
I
He
don't
was like,
think
had
it
to.
was like that.
What the
I got-
fuck?
I don't know.
Should I lie or should I
I
tell her the
been
truth?
like that.
In most sexual positions, that 30, 40 pounds don't matter because if you in doggy style, a woman's in doggy style.
Wait. Yo,
You don't. I'm not looking at her
Yo,
stomach.
First,
Wait,
find that
what
bag.
happened?
Find that poop.
What happened if
You know her back.
What happened if he was used to her being on top, right? And slowly the weight got bigger and bigger.
It don't matter,
Oh shit!
I mean,
bro.
That's all her
I just feel
This saddle can handle
My man, thank you.
a wide range of pounds.
Exactly. Look, I tell a buckaroo bonsai, get up on
Like,
it.
look.
Yeah, doggy style ain't got no face. I'm playing no
Exactly.
donuts.
It don't matter.
Exactly.
Frosting on that cake.
I do want to
Her
let me
stomach
just
and
say
doggy
this to
style.
all of
I don't think so.
my fuller women, my voluptuous women. This isn't me like, because
No,
my
you
friends,
back
all
there.
of my friends that know,
Look
like,
at
I'm
Coco
not.
Peach back there
I'm not
representing.
a voluptuous woman. I'm not a life woman, so I don't know that
You like
experience.
medium thing. You like
But-
medium rare or something.
Yeah, I just got there. I be teeter tottering. I gotta eat.
With
Consistently.
That teeter tottering. You got sea salt to wait. You got sea
No,
salt.
there you go.
I gotta eat.
Actually, give it about a
But,
couple more years, you're gonna get your grown woman body. That's what it is.
I mean,
A couple more years, you
judging
get
from
your,
my
get your
mom,
grown
she ain't
woman
too much
body.
bigger. I mean, the women in my, they just,
Oh,
that's what, I don't know.
oh.
But,
You gotta pop a baby out or something.
You like 3 bowls of grits away from looking
my
like
grandma
delicious.
popped out 5.
Damn, I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, my whole
Yeah.
point is that it's not me bashing larger women. I'm just saying from a general practical term, if you're in a marriage and you expect it to last long term without infidelities, then these conversations need to be able to be had, and solutions need to be found. Period. On either side.
What I would add to that is when you have these conversations, you got to take ego out of it.
Absolutely.
So if a man or a woman, whatever it is, your significant other is telling you, baby, you're getting a little bit big. You know what I'm saying? I love you. I love you. Like, I love you. But
I'll wait till
that motherfucker.
That's a dangerous conversation.
That stomach is.
You tell your wife.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta do something.
Look.
You can't tell your wife.
Yeah, you can.
That's what I'm saying. That's a dangerous conversation.
It
won't go well.
Is this like
unless your wife be like, you know what?
Hopefully she understands.
I can't remember if it was him that posted it or somebody posted.
Okay,
from what you know what I'm saying? Like,
I want to know, like, what was his reason for, like,
oh, it was somebody reposted something.
Like, I want to know
said.
What was his reason for doing that? Was it kind of like to basically push her?
Well, so I don't know. She
probably saw it.
I don't know if this is the case, but because I was looking for it because I wanted to send it to you guys. So when I was Googling it, I actually saw it pop up on a separate site. I guess what's it called? Advice for marriage couples and stuff. Like that's why I saw it when I was Googling this. I don't know if somebody saw it and just kind of took it to social media or whatever case may or may not be. But
if it was me and I was in that situation, I would have that conversation with her because I know me. It's a slight possibility it could lead to infidelity because I'm the shit and I'm chocolatey. And I got a lot of women, who want to get some of the chocolate thunder. So you need to keep in line with what I got going on. So you need to stay in the range of how you work.
That should be how you handle it.
This is all the things in my mind. I'm not going to say that, but in my mind, this is what I'm thinking. No, I ain't going to say all that, but in my mind.
I got bitches lined up. She's going to be like,
in my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
You know what's going to happen? She's like, let me call my work boo up.
Listen.
That nigga been
I'm not going to tell her that. No, hold on. Let me get this straight. I'm not going to tell her that. In my mind, I'll be like, look. In my mind, I'll be telling myself, like, bro, you the shit, bro. You can get, you ain't got to deal with this shit. But I'll be telling her, like, yo, do you mind if you how the way you look when we met and what I feel in love with? I
feel like this is the easiest way to do that. And I feel like this is a piece of advice for a lot of guys. If y'all feel like if that's the case, how about you start suggesting, like, hey, baby, let's go work out. Let's do this stuff together. Instead of just coming out to the way like, yeah, you getting big. You're like, yo, baby, look, I don't care about our health. I care about, you putting on this and that. Like, sometimes you gotta be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is just how I feel. Hey, let's start working out together. I can make this effort with you. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, because maybe it might be a situation. She's like, look, I don't think I can really do this.
I feel you, but in reality, on the ground, I think that people.
You had a good reality.
Yeah, bro, I had a good point.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
No, you had a great point. I'm just telling you. When a woman hears a man say, let's work out together, you think she's hearing, let's go work out together.
But what
she's hearing, I'm a fat bitch. And that's what
damn.
I'm just telling you how they think.
But what if,
am I
so realistically, how men communicate and how women communicate are very different. We have a tendency to read into
a man starts, y'all do.
A man starts.
He is right though. Women will take that.
A man starts cannot tell a woman over and over again, let's go to the gym, because she's not going to think like that.
Yeah, I've always said that I would depend on my friends.
Yeah, you can't force it.
Oh my God.
Or their own time, because at the end of the day, it sounds like the woman didn't gain that weight overnight. It probably took over years, and he was fucking potentially. What it seems to be mostly is that he's around other types of women. He might be looking at and comparing. It's like if a woman is around as a fucking porn director and she's around porn level joints, and then she gets home, it's the same thing to a woman's mind.
He's looking at all the women he could have and what he's stuck with at home.
And what if your wife was around some, most women at work are not around a plethora of dudes that are really attractive.
At the same time,
generally
Joe,
speaking,
they can be
but a lot of regular men are around a plethora of attractive women, more so, right?
There's always that one nigga named Lance or some shit that work at the job. Because a
lot of women work. So it's like you have to guard your mind.
So my question
is against that thought process.
So my question is, bottom line is, I don't know if we all have the answer. What is the best way for a man to tell his woman to lose weight?
I don't think there's one size. I don't think there's a one size fits all. I think most of the time you probably shouldn't. You should probably be like, take a roundabout way. See if her friends gonna joke with her about it. And you just stay out of that shit.
I would say,
my friends gonna joke with her.
I would say, say, hey, babe, I'm getting fat.
You gotta shame yourself first. That's a good strategy. That's a good strategy.
Self first.
That's a good strategy,
man.
But what if you already work out? Then what can you say?
Let's work out together.
Joe knows saying. But it does. I do agree that it sounds like. If this happened in a short amount of time, then they really should be going to see a doctor in real life. But because that's something that's deeper. But if it happened over years, this conversation should have been.
But then you know what? We don't know how old she is either, though. So
I don't know anything.
It might be a health issue.
Is what I read. That's all I know.
It's natural. You're married. You're sitting at home more. Taking care of home responsibilities.
We're assuming that.
I'm assuming if he did this at all, they married. I would put it at least 5 years. I don't know, but that's nothing over 5 years. I don't know. But I'm saying in real life, all you can really do, like what a woman said, let's go for a walk. Maybe it's somebody suggests McDonald's, you suggest a home cooked meal. I mean, they'll see. Wait. No, they're not. I'm telling you, they're not.
No, actually, if you
gotta say it like that. They're not gonna get into it. But if you say, go to the gym.
Hey, you don't say it like that.
You can't say
that. No, not like that. But if you say,
go to the
gym, in any way, nice or not, that's how they're gonna read.
You know what I think you should say? You should be like, baby. Man, I think I'm putting on some weight. I need to hit this gym.
Man.
But I'm saying, like you said, I'm gonna shame myself first.
You're lying.
You have
to be honest.
Now, I'm not gonna ask her if she want to join. I'm gonna be like, baby, I think I'm putting on some weight. I want to make sure I look right for you, baby. So I'm gonna go to the gym and work out, get my shit right. Maybe in her mind, she be like, damn, that might. Maybe I should do that. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
This is what you're going to say.
What makes you so impressed? That's what I'm going to say.
Hey, I said I'm hoping.
I'm a female.
You was good enough when we met. Now you trying to get five of me?
Who you met? You need to stay fat like that.
No. And I honestly, I don't have a solution because I feel like I prefer straight up, and that may change. A couple children down the road, I may be a little more self-conscious, and I probably wouldn't want to hear that from my husband / father of my kids either.
Actually, Key, I think you would take the initiative to do that.
I would like to think so, but I could also understand how that could get in the way if you have a career and kids and a husband, and I can understand how you don't have that time.
It might be a wake up moment, like, oh shit.
Maybe sometimes you hit that mirror and be like, damn, I got too many roles.
Hopefully you think that, then that'll say you time to bring the shit up.
Nigga, that's what I did. I hit the mirror. I said,
no, I'm talking about for the woman. Hopefully the woman.
I jumped self. I thought he was talking about ROLE. It didn't click at first.
Roll.
Yeah.
So.
Roll.
Damn, you think this nigga, the black guy, is split or something?
I mean, no, because I was just saying, you got all these things to do, so
Look, I'm talking about the Pillsbury Doughboys. Okay.
I got something else I want to bring up.
What's up? Go ahead.
Oh, anybody else got anything else?
I ain't got nothing else to add.
What do y'all think about this is political.
God damn it.
I mean, we haven't talked politics yet. Let's do it.
What do y'all think about Trump proposing to do an executive order to basically end the birthright statute in the amendment that says natural born citizens that's born in the U.S. who are automatic citizens? He's saying if neither parent is a citizen or legal citizen at any time, that the child basically is not going to be recognized as an American citizen. And he wants to write an amendment to overturn a constitutional amendment, which I think is a dangerous thing if you give a president that kind of power, because that basically means they can overturn.
Well, he can propose the amendment, but
no, he's saying he's going to do it.
No, he can't.
He can't.
I know. That's in his mind. He thinks he can do that.
Now
that nigga think he's. Never mind. Let's keep going.
I mean,
do you think it's right? No, my question is, do you think what he's going after is right as far as parents who are legal citizens of America have a child on American soil and that child not being recognized as an American citizen?
Here's my opinion. I don't think he's right. I think constitutionally, the way it's written, the way I understand it, let me say that. The way I understand it, that's not right. Here's something else that I think. And this is in no way like bashing immigrants or anything like that. However, realistically, this is a country with resources that do have a cap. So I understand the desire to not just like be open arms to every refugee or every immigrant that needs to come. I get that part. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to. No. That's not what I'm saying. Because we are nowhere.
I got a solution.
We're nowhere near. No. And that's not my argument. We're nowhere near, in my opinion, as far as I know, we're nowhere near like using up all of our resources. But realistically, you can't just open the door to everyone who's experiencing persecution or whatever the case may or may not be in their country.
Like, look at that whole convoy situation. That whole convoy that was coming here.
That's what led them to come up with that.
So, I mean, I understand the need to control it, but I do not think that that is the way to go about it. I don't know a good way.
Because
I ain't well versed in that.
Because me personally, both of my parents are Jamaican. And they flew over here and had me, I wouldn't be a citizen if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? That's not... You know, they try to move over here. They flew legally,
right?
Yeah.
You know, to have a better life in America,
right?
No, using legally,
right?
And then they had me on American soil, so I wouldn't be a citizen if that's the case.
But they were legally permitted to be in this country.
Yeah.
Now he's talking about illegal aliens having both parents are legal having a baby on American soil.
Then that begs the question, because I think the way I understand it now, and the way the law is written, even if you enter illegally and the first thing that you do is, you know, report yourself to whatever necessary authorities to say you're seeking asylum, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're allowed to stay in the country for as long as or up until the day of your trial, like, you know, when they can decide whether or not you can get that visa or citizenship or whatever the case may or may not be. So my question would be for those children in that, I guess, gray area. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they may have entered the country illegally, but they're taking the necessary legal steps, as far as I know, the necessary legal steps to do what needs to be done. So what happens to those children? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah, I agree with everyone's point, but then you have to go back to the history to say, okay, when did the 13th Amendment? When was it ratified? Right?
I can Google it. I don't know.
What was it ratified for?
I mean, teach me.
Well, that gave ex-slaves a right to be citizens, not just immigrants. It was written for,
and that's why I said it was dangerous for him to think he
it wasn't written for immigrants. We were the only immigrants here, other than the white immigrants, right? So very, very loosely. I mean, if I believe that most of us were already here, but that's another story. But anyway, it gave us the right to be citizens of this country. But so that's the dangerous part. The convoy thing, I said to someone at work that when U.S. companies go to those countries, if you remember the El Salvadoran commercials when they had the kids with cleft palates and
that shit was really
disturbing. That happens when you go to those countries and mine and poison the water. Then the mothers drink the water and the children come out deformed. So American companies go to these very countries, particularly Honduras and El Salvador, and they expropriate land and they through eminent domain, and they poison the water, mining for gold in South America particularly, and then they don't just come here, like even in Europe, people that go to France because they speak French. So they don't just go to France just because. But France and Belgium have been to their countries and poisoned their water, knocked down their trees, and install presidents to their countries. So when they come back to those countries, it's chickens coming home to roost, basically. So America is not just 50 states. America, by law, is North, Central, and South America. So when they say that, they're kind of lying to you, because the American companies don't operate like this. Like they operate in the 50 states, they operate internationally. Right. So when they say America, they mean something different than what we think they mean. So a convoy is demonstrating that there are no true borders internationally, because God didn't make borders, and not only that, the U.S. government does not operate with borders.
Yeah, technically borders are imaginary.
I think you made a good point when you were saying, like, you know, the chickens coming back to roost, because a lot of, I think it's was it Rio de Janeiro, El Salvador, places where they're doing like oil mining, a couple places in Africa, like they come into these countries and they say that they're going to give however much X amount of dollars to these people so that they can quote unquote advance, technologically and things of that nature. Maybe they give them money. I don't know where the money is transferred, if the money ever gets there, but it doesn't reach the people. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. It doesn't reach the people. And so what happens is these people now, like, everything is going up around them except their living wage, right? So now you've created a situation where previously everybody was kind of on the same playing field. Now people have to resort to things that they probably wouldn't have resorted to previously to just to survive. Yeah, where they were drilling for oil, there are people who can't necessarily work for the oil refinery digging for gold. That's what it was. I think it's Colombia, where they're digging for gold, and you have these makeshift gold mining places where these men, like, they just kind of band together and they go searching for gold, and they're doing all of these dangerous things because there's no regulation. Like, they're using mercury to get the gold together and put it, and that's flowing through the water, and you have these gangs that come in and they tax them for working on these illegal gold mines. Like, it's just another way for gangs to come in. And even with Rio, I think they ousted, the gangs didn't get that bad until they ousted the former president. Now, he was corrupt, but what politician isn't, what politician isn't, right? Yeah. But when they did that, the gangs then took over in those areas. So
and we come in.
That was Rio de Janeiro. But even in
Brazil,
I think it's either Afghanistan or Pakistan.
When they got the opium shit.
So prior to that, when the Taliban was in charge, all of that shit was illegal. There were no huge opium fields, none of that. Because if you got caught, it's a wrap. Like, you either in jail for life or you dead. Period. Yeah. But after they were taken from power, after they were out of power, these same leaders now needed ways to make money. And so they started, refurbishing these poppy fields. And I think now it's like 2/3 of the Iraqi population that's hooked on heroin and stuff like that.
Like
so we go in and we do these things. And when I say we, I mean the United States of America. Yeah. Go in and do these things because we think we're helping. We say we're helping, but
everybody's big brother.
Well, no, that's not what we're doing though. We're doing that to take advantage of resources.
Yeah, I know that.
And then when we leave them dry, now they have nowhere to go. Yeah. And where else would they go? That's the other side to it.
Because like even back to the heroin thing as well. If you look at the fake ass movie American Gangster, where the U.S. military was bringing in heroin from Vietnam, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I told people when they first went to Afghanistan that all was going to happen is the opioid crisis and heroin was going to jump up because coke and crack was king at that point, sort of. Heroin was going to make a jump because they use that to make oxycodone and all the other pills and morphine.
Yep.
Of course, they use Afghani. That's the best shit on the planet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So American soldiers are guarding poppy seeds. They're literally taking it in. Now they might not be. They're very smart now. They're not doing what they did with American Gangster time with John Lucas. They're putting Frank Lucas. Yeah. They're putting that's the best word. Frank Lucas. They're putting that pure opium into the pills that's affecting many people around this country.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not that they're watching. They're trying to watch over the world. That, like Kia said, they're taking resources, and it's a direct line from that to that. So it's not Mexico bringing drugs in for the most part. Because they can't bring enough drugs to continuously have a flow like this.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have a government influence to bring that many drugs in. Like, we never have a shortage of drugs, right?
Right.
Jobs go up and down. Yeah. Resources go up and down. We might have bad water, but we never have bad. We never have exactly. We don't have insufficient drugs.
Right.
Like, how does that work?
I don't know.
Smugglers don't operate that smoothly. You never have a shortage.
I just find it funny that America basically became what we were trying to run away from, like the British. You know what I'm saying? It's like British was controlling all these other countries and all that kind of stuff.
But I mean,
they didn't want to pay them tax to the king.
Well, what else could you expect? Like, everybody that came to America wasn't like, oh, we trying to find a new land. Like, yes, some of it was religious persecution, but the other part of it were the miscreants that Britain didn't want, so they exiled them to America.
Yeah, I want to bring the other side of the argument.
Crack some native cheese.
I want to bring the other side of the argument from what an American citizen argument might be against all that what you said. What if they come to you like, okay, you're saying North America shouldn't have borders, it should be all America. But since borders have been established and citizens from this country can't go to another country freely without a passport, So obviously borders have been established. So what about people who have generations of family who grew up in this country and have set a foundation or base in this country as American citizens, and then people come into this country that has established borders and they get the same benefits from people who've had as illegal immigrants just because they have children, and they get some of the same benefits as people who've had generations of families, you know what I'm saying, who've been here, and they get the same benefits as those who are illegal immigrants.
Good point. I would say to that point that many of these so-called immigrants pay into the Social Security pot, but they don't necessarily.
But there's no way to document that because they're
they get taxed.
Yeah, taxes.
I mean, they get taxed, but a lot of them get paid under the table as well.
But when they get paid, they're still being paid within a system of Social Security still to take out their check. They still have to pay that.
They don't get a check. That's what I'm saying. They ain't no check.
Most of them
get paid cash under the table.
Where every one of them, or
most of them, yeah, most of them.
Some of them are. Some of them.
A lot of them get paid under the table.
Okay, so
a green
card.
Ain't no check. Ain't no.
Here's the
deal. A green card citizen.
Yeah,
that's still legal. I'm talking about illegal.
Well,
that's still documented as a green card citizen.
I'm talking about citizens and non-citizens, right? Or naturalized citizens. I'm talking about naturalized citizens. People that come in, right? To this country, they might be, in green card, you might be quote unquote a temporary citizen, and so on and so forth. But when you have that designation and you get paid, you pay into a system that you may not necessarily benefit from, right? So but this is just facts. And without that influx of cash from them, from people that they know won't benefit from it, the Social Security, as we know it, will crumble. So they benefit. They have more benefits to us. But our problem in this society, to me, is not the boogeyman. It's more like to me, dirty water. I mean, poison water. They had another report about Newark. But the water's bad in Chicago. The water's bad in Flint, as we know, Detroit. You know, so that's poisoning us, and people don't know how bad water is. Not to get off topic, but the more lead in water, the more violent the area, no matter what. So that's more the problem. But I think that citizens should sort of not make that the boogeyman, because it's taken away from the real problem. That
Well, the only reason I say that is because when me and Mark stayed, we had an apartment, and I'm not putting no judgment on anybody or anything. I don't know the situation, but literally, we stayed on one side, and our neighbors on across the hall, it had been about 10 fucking Mexicans in there. I guarantee you, only one of them was probably a documented citizen or had some kind of paperwork that you could follow. The rest of them probably didn't have no paperwork, and they sitting there living in there, benefiting off of, where everybody else has to be documented and have to pay into a system where one person probably, if it's 10 of them in there, one person probably paying into the system because somebody has to be documented to get that residence. The rest of them are just feeding off the system and taking advantage of it.
Could you do it?
When you say feeding off the system, like what are give me some examples, like what are they using? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, if it's one person who's documented and let's say it's one person who has a show of income, right? So then you have other people, 9 or 10 other people living under the same roof. They're getting paid under the table. They're not documented. Most of them send that money back to their home country.
Right.
So that money's not being put into the Social Security or whatever tax system that there is, to where they're not paying into what they're living in this country, but they're not contributing anything to society, is what I'm saying.
Couple points. So one, I would beg to differ. I think that they are contributing, because in these jobs where they are getting paid in the table, realistically, these are jobs that a lot of Americans are not United States.
You don't think a homeless man could do the job, or would do the job that those Mexicans do?
If that was the case, they would be doing it.
But why not? Why aren't they?
Because as an employer, why would I hire a homeless man? I have to pay.
But hold up, because you got to pay that homeless man more because he knows he's supposed to get more.
Right. So then, exactly. So then, if you have immigrants who
so they're getting paid cheaper, right? So how's that contributing? The prices that we're paying. We pay less because they don't have to pay the workers as much. So, like strawberry, like where I'm from, we have like strawberry farms and watermelon. Oh, the Migos, no offense, that's just what we call y'all the Migos. The Migos be on the buses, right? I'm talking about sun up to sundown picking. And that's the reason why you could go walk into a store and the strawberries or fruit or whatever ain't high as hell.
So you're saying that illegal immigration is needed in this country to survive?
At the prices that we living at? Hell yes. Yes.
But then that only benefits people who can afford to buy those goods.
If they don't do it here, you know what's going to happen? They're going to take it overseas and pay somebody cheaper there. That's just what it is.
You know what?
So what about in times past when people could afford those goods and services with American-owned and operated companies that was already here without illegal immigration workforce?
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Put it
like this.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just asking. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm looking at it from the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I got you. That's good. Those good, great questions. I would say that back in the day when there were, real unions and manufacturing jobs here, that's the reason why they took it out, because they knew they couldn't survive how they wanted to survive with the union, strong pensions. That shit's a thing in the past. Now the only way to get a pension is you only have a few sectors to get a good pension in. Before, you work for GM, work for these other companies, you can get a pension. And a lot of those are great avenues for a lot of families, middle income and above, to survive and thrive in this country.
Okay, but that goes back to my original argument. As a person who's has a family who's lived here for generations, right?
Yeah.
And contribute to society in whatever way, taxes or whatever, generations. Now it's gotten to a point where a lot of companies, because they can't afford to pay American citizens a fair wage, take their jobs overseas, and then on top of that, they hire illegal immigrants for jobs that American citizens can be working.
There's no such thing.
They can afford to, but the bottom line is, and especially here in America, the way our capitalism works, you trying to get all the profit for yourself. It's not that they can't afford to; they just don't want to. So even if we took all the illegal immigrants and sent them away, they would still find a way to turn more profit, because in America, for large companies, if you're not increasing in profit, even if you're just staying stagnant, if you're not increasing, to them, you're failing. You have to continuously increase profit. In order to do that, you got to cut corners.
Yeah. So you're saying it's the company's fault that we have?
It's not just the companies. It's just how it was set up. That's how. I mean, it benefited them when they were going from an industrial or from a farming to an industrialized age. From farming to industrial, where they were working in fact, it benefited them to let these large companies kind of, cut corners, do what they needed to do to move forward. But now you have these large companies who are so powerful, and that same mentality is still there, which is I need profit, and I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to get this profit.
They got addicted to their own drug.
Put it like this. Put it like this. There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. When you're on the phone with any company, a credit card company, for example. You think that in this country, you're not talking to somebody in this country by and large. You're talking to somebody in
That's what I'm saying. It ships jobs overseas.
But that's not the fault of it. That's why the illegal immigration doesn't make any sense. They're dealing with so-called people outside this country anyway. So when they talk about illegal immigration, on Mar-a-Lago, on Trump's property in Florida, most of his employees are quote unquote. And
a lot of his clothes that were made in Mexico.
Exactly. So he's the one espousing these bullshit arguments. And also when you deal with companies, right, that are not paying their fair share of taxes, where they're based in Ireland, like Facebook is, when they're based in outside countries, they're not paying billions into it. All these stock trades. They're not paying into the regular stock system, the regular tax system. That's where the real robbery is taking place.
I'm just looking at it from an average American citizen. They're looking at it like these people are taking our jobs. They shipping jobs overseas because they get cheap labor from an outside source.
Nobody wants to come here. Just so you know, no one really wants to come here. If they come here, they have to come here. You understand? They don't want to be here. Trust me.
The argument that when they say quote unquote they are taking our jobs, they can't come and take anything. It's being given to them because from a business standpoint, if I can turn a larger profit, I'm gonna do that. And if it's not illegal immigrants, it's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
Like the way AI is moving, a lot of people about to lose their jobs to computers. Why? Because it's cheaper. That's it. It's cheaper. That's just what they do. And so it's easy to put the face on immigrants because it's a normal thing for countries to do. Anytime a country is going through something difficult, or when they feel like they're going into debt, the first thing they do is blame immigrants, quote unquote immigrants.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I think people feel like they're taking their jobs because they feel like they shouldn't be here in the first place.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you how people think. They
Right.
If you create AI, that's something you created within the company. Nobody came from somewhere they wasn't supposed to be and was in your spot where they wasn't supposed to be in the first place and took the job.
But it was an American that gave that job to that illegal immigrant.
But if that illegal immigrant never came here where they wasn't supposed to be, they wouldn't got that job.
That's
how they're looking at it.
But the truth is that's not true. That's not true.
I feel like at the same time,
I'm not saying I don't agree with you. I'm just telling you how people think.
I feel like at the same time,
I play on the other side
the
of the
only
fence.
reason why they're even thinking about the whole illegal immigrant thing is because it's like, oh shit, we let too much in. Now we gotta control it. I think that's essentially what it is. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, we're making profit off of it, but now we have a surplus or an extra. We need this to stop.
And that's always the case. That's the same thing that's happening in France.
So it's like once they get it
under
under control, illegal immigration is gonna be like, wait, oh, that's just happening? Oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just gonna throw it out the door.
The only way they will be able to justify the illegal immigration problem is if, let's just say they do get rid of a large majority of the illegal immigrants and those jobs they left behind. If they go to American citizens, that'll be the only way that they can justify and be like, yeah, this is why we did that. Because if they get rid of them and those jobs are still afloat, nobody, and like you say, American companies aren't hiring American citizens, and it was all for naught.
Here's what's missing though in the argument. They're not talking about people that come from Scandinavia here.
That's true.
People that come from Switzerland here. They're talking when Trump said he's a nationalist. That's a very loaded term with a long history. Reagan. The last person that used "Make America Great Again" was Ronald Reagan, right?
And Reaganomics did not work.
Do you know what MAGA? I mean, MAGA has an actual meaning.
Yeah, we talked about it.
MAGA actually means combat conflict.
Yeah,
right. Right. So they have a message, and so when they talk about being a nationalist and being and talking about legal immigration, they don't want this country to be browner. Same thing, they don't want the country to be browner in France, browner in Germany. But what happens is that when you try to destroy people, take over people's land, they don't understand the idea that we are part of this earth, so we can't go anywhere. And the best example of that is when they bombed Laos and Vietnam for 7 years straight, every damn day. They're still here. So my thing is, it's more about their numbers than being anti-immigration. Because if it was anywhere else coming here, they wouldn't have a problem with that. Because they didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, to his point, like, I feel like most of the people that I hear that argument from, 9 times out of 10, your doctor is not from America, bro. They not from America.
No.
Chances are, realistically, their parents did not come here legally. Chances are, if they hard down still got an accent, chances are their parents didn't come here legally. So what jobs exactly are you fighting for? Because if you feel that strongly, don't go see a physician. Don't talk to the next tech person. Don't get that heart surgery. Don't do none of that. The majority of the ER physicians that I work with didn't even go to medical school in America.
No.
And they came over here and got a job. And they be right there like, Doc, fix me.
Did they come on a work permit?
I don't know how they got here. I didn't ask those questions.
They came on a work permit.
I didn't ask those questions.
Like, okay, they came on a work permit.
Should be
the argument that
up in our educational opportunities here. Yeah. Everybody, not necessarily just anti-immigrant, like she said. The people you deal with on an everyday basis, by and large, are either not even on the soil when they're talking to you, and the other people who are on the phone are probably in jail.
Probably so. I know one thing. I'm hungry than a motherfucker, man.
I can't stay here.
I hear we talking about legal immigrants.
What?
I'm hungry.
I mean,
why?
Because I'm gonna holler at this halal man. He probably ain't from America, but he got some good ass goddamn chicken and rice.
Thank you.
Fucking right.
Now,
I know, right? That whole argument was just thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm about to eat some chicken rice.
There was one last thing that I wanted to talk about. I don't even know if we got enough time.
We'll talk a little bit.
Shit.
I mean, there's always Thursday.
Nah, we'll talk about this next week. I mean, it was more relevant because of the whole Halloween thing and
Halloween.
you know, yeah. Okay, but I wasn't gonna talk about the whole blackface situation.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it last week. It just happened. So.
You want to do 5 minutes on it, or you want?
Yeah,
I don't think we can. There's 5
You know,
of
Joe
us.
gonna go in. He
I
ready.
don't
He
think we
itching.
can do 5 minutes.
But
Joe go in. Boy, he ready.
Hey, you can limit it to 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Stay tuned next week, guys. We
Damn.
talk about blackface.
I mean,
And Charlotte.
I didn't know you wanted to talk about blackface. I would have cut that shit.
South Charlotte,
Thank
Carolina.
So he was quiet for the longest time. Then.
No, I asked you. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about? He said, I ain't got nothing.
whoa.
You did ask
We
that.
had this discussion last week. Should be too long with it. God damn. Like, shit.
If you just said, hey, I want to sneak in some
Guys.
blackface.
Let's condense this shit. Shit.
Josh, that's a good question. Bro.
Fuck you, Josh.
Hey,
And your
Josh,
good ass
that-
question.
Great
God,
job,
man.
Josh.
Damn. God damn.
That's my DJ voice.
I can appreciate
We could be talking about blackface right now.
We
Oh,
could.
hell,
But-
that would be you about to go in. My
You gotta
stomach can't
go.
take it, bro. I'm home.
She should know.
How about this?
Guys, thanks for listening.
To the lady that said it was okay for, I guess, you know, whatever. You know, I don't feel like she should have lost a job, but, you know, you should know better. That was going to be the premise of that discussion. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I don't feel like she should have lost a job, but she should definitely know better. I also wanted to say, and this is just my personal thing, I put on Facebook yesterday that a lot of the motherfucking costumes I saw, they were whack as fuck. Trash. Garbage. And so somebody was like, oh, you're not even in the spirit of Halloween. How can you say that? I'm like, because I'm somebody on the outside looking in, and I can critique wherever the fuck I want to.
Oh, you need better Facebook friends, because other ones I saw, they were legit.
No, I mean, I saw some shit. My thing is, be something that it's like, oh, okay, I didn't see that. Don't like, oh, I'm just. Somebody said, what's that fucking movie with Lilo and Stitch and the mom or some shit? Whatever it is, Lilo's mom or some shit.
It's her sister.
Whatever.
Nani?
I don't know what
Yes.
the fuck. Bruh, the character of that, she's just a chick that has on fucking tank top and some shorts. This chick said, yeah, I'm her. I said, bitch, that's anybody.
Yeah,
That's not a costume. That's just you coming out the house.
Was it the same outfit? Was it the same color?
It didn't matter.
It does matter.
No, there was.
It
Look,
does
look,
matter.
look, you know, be different if she did some prosthetic. Maybe gave her more of a.
Nah, man, but he
I
right
disagree
though.
with you.
I'm right, like that.
Niggas be coming out with Jason Maz with some crocodile jeans and a FUBU
I
shirt.
mean,
Like, bro, come
yeah.
on. At least fit on a
But
mechanic suit.
if you're dressing like
That's
a
what I'm trying to
cartoon
get at.
character
And
and
that's
you
what,
have
like-
the cartoon character's outfit on,
But
like
the outfit wasn't even barely
Yeah,
there.
she said if
It
she
was
had a
just-
surfboard, that would make sense.
Thank you. Or if you
No.
would have had like a
Like,
little
if
you
Milo
do the
or
costume,
something
do the
with you.
costume.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
would make
okay,
sense.
that makes sense.
Like if I can't tell who you are off the jump, you ain't.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, but he don't know the character anyway, so he
No.
couldn't tell
I
anyway.
knew that. No, it was
He just
both.
don't know the
They had
name.
side to side.
You don't know the name.
They had side to sides, and I was like, "That's who you supposed to be." I said, "You just look like a regular motherfucker. Like that look like some shit you wore back in the summer."
Well, I ain't seen those, but shout out to my roommate's friend Amanda Wise. Is that her name? Yeah, she made the shade room. She did like the whole Missy Super Duper Fly video thing, and she made the shade room. So
That's
Had the
what's
trash
up.
bag.
she had the fat suit or whatever.
Shit
And she
like-
was,
See,
yeah,
guess
she was
what?
killing them.
I would have been like, "That's dope."
See,
Yeah.
you need better Facebook friends. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, all my friends is just lazy as fucking ratchet, I guess.
Niggas be walking around with Freddy claws on with Robin jeans and shit. Like, bro, that's not a costume.
Bruh, motherfuckers, look, I saw some shit. They was, Craig and Smokey. I'm like, bruh, I've seen that shit a million fucking times. I don't want to see that no more.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this though.
It's trash.
Somebody did do Childish
Nah.
Gambino where I went.
See, that'd have been dope.
Yeah, his was shit. He had the bandana on and everything.
See,
He
that'd
had the
been
hair
dope.
and the I was
See,
like,
that'd been
yo,
dope. My biggest thing is
crazy.
it's all about being original and just putting a little effort. If it basically looked like, damn, I got like 2 minutes to take a picture of this shit. Hey, give me that shit, bruh. Hey, give me that mask. All right. Yeah, take a picture. I'm like, I'm about to kill these hoes. Like, nah, nigga.
You know, I think the Purge messed that all that
Thank
shit up.
Thank you. You know what I hated for like
That's all
5
it
years
is.
straight?
Like,
I've seen chicks be like,
Yeah.
I put on a fucked up weird mask and some shorts.
And I'm purged.
I'm doing a purge.
I mean, I haven't seen any Purge, so.
You see the purge, you know what I'm talking about.
But okay, I got a homegirl down there in Miami, Cece. Shout out to Cece. she went as like Harley Quinn, but she did the whole thing. Like she came with the whole outfit, had the makeup, had the wide grin type shit. I was like, that's dope. Because I'm like, you put some effort into it. Yeah, it's a costume that I've seen a million times, but you did something different with it. It's like, okay, that's dope. That's what's up. Like you put a grin on it. It looked like she took a video, her head out the window like the Joker. I was like, oh, that's dope. Like I was like, all right, that's some dope shit. Then on the flip side, I see some other shit where a motherfucker be like, oh, I'm just this rapper. Nigga, you can't be a fucking
I'm a rapper.
that can't be a Halloween costume, dog. Like you just bruh, I'm Kevin Gates. Like, nigga, who wants to be Kevin Gates?
He gonna have two phones. He gonna have two phones. Like, you get it? Two phones?
And I saw this little toddler that was dressed up like Kevin Gates. The baby looked like it could have been Kevin Gates' baby, but he looked like they had the tattoos and everything, and it was cute.
Good though.
It was cute. So
Shout
yes,
out
you
to
can
the,
dress up like rappers.
To the Instagram
Yes,
model
you
who dressed up like Deadpool, the fatty. I seen that video.
Okay, so moving forward, it was a really great show.
Great podcast.
Why you always do that?
Deadpool.
I thought she was hungry.
I am.
Okay.
He's hungry for that butt. You ain't? No? You ain't eating
No,
no
I ain't.
butt?
I already told Kia last week I ain't eating no
Call it the
groceries.
burger.
Didn't I tell you that, Kia?
Oh, eating that butt burger,
I
bro?
don't eat no groceries. I don't eat butt
Grab
burgers.
the buns like a man and
Oh, that butt burger is eating? You don't want no fur burgers?
Nah, bro.
Not
He
the
eat that muffin only for
burgers.
stuffing.
You trying to give it some of that
She got
medium?
the chocolate cream filling, bro.
Oh, shit!
Boston cream pie.
Oh my goodness, you guys are wild. Oh my lord.
On that note,
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Good night.
Look,
Yeah.
shout out to the people that had dope costumes.
For sure.
Step it up next year, guys, please. That's all
Once
I'm
we had
asking.
shitty
thank you guys
costumes.
for listening to us.
Just step it
ramble.
up. Yeah, just step it up. But this is your boy Sean, Mr. NJ Big City.
He and Crippy Jr.
What the fuck?
What?
I switched it up.
Just Kia.
I got that from Brian.
Unreal fiction. That'd be epic.
Yes.
Shout out to John and Terrell and all that. And shit, we gonna bounce, alright? Peace. Oh, happy Halloween for yesterday and all that shit too.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Damn, I feel like an old man when I get out of the chair, boy.
So for the people that were on my live, Miss Haley, follow us on YouTube, please.
Hold on, I'm gonna call her. She off.
Yeah, follow us.
She got
She
an
said-
Instagram and a Twitter and all
She
that.
said bye.
That's
Follow us.
not how she said it actually. She said it like.
She said-
That's how